Okay, thank you, Carlo. Welcome, everybody. This is why Friday the 13th is known as an inauspicious or bad day and a day of bad luck. First, it has nothing to do with witches or warlocks. It has nothing to do with the number 13. The reason of Friday the 13th we think of as a bad day is because in the year 1309, the King of France, Philip IV, got together with the Pope, the King of Spain, and the King of Portugal. And together, they put together a scheme to arrest the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were warrior monks who protected the pilgrim roads from Europe to Jerusalem during the Crusades. And when the Crusades were over, the Knights Templar came back to Europe and they brought back many things they learned, including the banking system and the use of checks, which is what we use today. Our modern banking system and the use of writing checks and using credit cards is based on the banking system that the Knights Templar brought back from the Middle East during the time of the Crusades. They were so successful at doing that, they became the bankers to the kings. Philip IV was not a good financial king. He bankrupted his kingdom of France, and he went into debt to the Knights Templar. So much so, he didn't have any more money left. And the king said, well, that won't do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some of the other kings in Europe, like Spain and Portugal. They kind of do what I say. And I'm going to get the Pope on my side. And we're going to make up all these lies about the Knights Templar being evil people and worshiping the devil. And we're going to arrest them all, and we're going to take all their money. So on Friday, the October 13th, 1309, there was a papal edict, which was a letter from the Pope demanding that the Knights Templar be arrested and tried for heresy. That papal edict or letter was enforced by the King of France, the King of Spain, and the King of Portugal. And the Knights Templar were all arrested. Many of them were. Their leader, Jacques de Molay, was actually put on trial, tortured, and he admitted to worshiping the devil. And he was sentenced to death. Right before he died, and he was being brought to the stake to be burned at the stake, he said, I renounce my confession. It wasn't true. You guys tortured me. We don't worship the devil. We're good, honest Christian soldiers of Christ. And this is what we do. And it's unfair what you're doing. And he burned him up. Fast forward, and the Knights Templar disappeared. Rumors, some of them got away. And some say they went to Scotland and helped Robert the Bruce win the decisive battle of Bannockburn to free Scotland from King John II. That's a side story. Then they disappeared. Fast forward, French Revolution, 18th century. Louis XIV is on the guillotine, ready to be killed for his crimes of bankrupting the Kingdom of France once again. Right before he is killed, somebody in the crowd that they don't know at all jumps up and he says, Jacques de Molay is avenged. And remember, Jacques de Molay was the head of the Knights Templar that was killed in the 1400s after being arrested on Friday the 13th, 1309. And when that person in the crowd in the 18th century for Louis XIV said, Jacques de Molay is avenged, they say that's when the Knights Templar came out of hiding and showed that they were still a religious organization that believed in God and wanted to do the right thing by people. And that's why Friday the 13th is bad luck, because on Friday, October 13th, 1309, the Knights Templar were unjustly arrested by the King of France, Spain, and Portugal, and by the Pope. So if you're related to them, yeah, it's bad luck for you. For everybody else, Friday the 13th is just another day. And that's the story of Friday the 13th.